It's like detox.
Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
This month is a great month to make your mental health and your own personal emotional healing a priority. And for some, this may mean finally deciding to start seeing a therapist. And for this reason, I've partnered with BetterHelp to assist you guys in finding a therapist that's right for you. With all of the chaos, confusion, and uncertainty going on in the world right now, coupled with our own personal daily struggles, now is definitely a great time to talk to someone who can not just be a listening ear, but can also help you with the what, the hows, and the whys that you're experiencing what you're experiencing. So if you or someone you know and love is going through something right now and feels the need for a little more help, I stress that you guys take advantage of this resource. Hello, fellow Tauri. Welcome to your July reading. I am Princess India. If you're new, if you're family, welcome back, my friend. So in this vicinity, you should see me shuffling your cards. You'll see that 3 cards fell out for you guys because, Tauruses were a little extra, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, they're on my desk at present, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. The first 3 cards that you have, Taurus, for July, the first card is Inner Earth. It says, you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. The second card is, I like this word just because it makes me think of Dave Chappelle, getting purified in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. That's not what it says. Every time I see that word, that's what I think about. The seas of Minnetonka, I think. I'm going to get better at these starseed words eventually. Seeing potential, bringing unconscious to light in the beautiful waters of Lake Minnetonka. Anywho, the next card is I'm sorry. Lo siento. Defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. Hui they. So, Taurus, with you guys' overall energy, the first thing that comes to my mind, quite honestly, is a bit of obliviousness. You guys are going through a transitional period. Me looking at this objectively, I can say that it's a transitional period, but the way that it would feel subjectively is not so much. It could potentially feel a lot like being trapped, being in the dark, not knowing which should poppin', you know what I mean? And it reminds me of something I actually said to someone the other day. I said, there's no need to fear storms when you can attune to your inner vision, your foresight, because people who can attune to their foresight, they don't fret about storms, because when they see the storm, they see through the storm to the sunlight that comes after the storm. So whenever storms manifest in our life, it's more about focusing on that sunlight and not so much on the storm, because we know that the storm is merely temporary, right? So the sun is always going to come out afterwards. So it's more or less, if I were to compare that to what I'm seeing in the overall energy cards for Taurus, it's more or less that you guys are in the midst of a storm at present, and it's imperative to not get lost in the subjective, temporary, perspective or stance that you're in the storm, and to focus more on what comes afterwards. So what we're really talking about is being present where you are in every circumstance, right? So and this is going to get kind of sticky here, where indeed focus on the sunlight that's coming, but don't negate the storm. Don't deny that the storm is here, right? It's being present almost like 2 places at once, Taurus. I hope you're following me here. it's almost being present in two places at once. It's acknowledging, yes, I'm here. There is a storm happening. However, I know the sunlight is coming. My energy is fixated on what's coming towards me, on the sunlight coming. However, I'm aware that a storm exists, and one needs to do what's necessary in order, like opening your umbrella. You know what I'm saying? For the time being, but knowing that the sunlight is coming. I'm hoping that that's making sense. And the reason why I say that is more or less because of the I'm sorry card. That lets me know that there's something in the midst of this proverbial storm that you all should be doing. You know what I mean? And that takes us into you guys' cards for the month, with the Judgment card specifically, and you guys' crossing position. But it's more or less this particular transitional period is, and I said this last night too, it's like detox. It's like when you go to rehab, and the first, week that you're in rehab, you're going through detox. So it's addiction, the choice to go to rehab. You go to rehab for the week you're in detox. That week of detox is where Taurus is right now. And then after you come out of detox, it's your rehabilitation to combat the addiction, if that's making sense. So it's these separate pieces, but they're all connected. I hope that that makes sense. So it's more or less, when we're talking about righting past wrongs and uprooting, it's more or less reprogramming yourself, if you will. And of course, it's going to be different for each of you because, some Tauruses, you may have to apologize to people, forgive people, forgive yourself, whatever the case may be. But that's what the purpose of this time frame is. So getting into you guys' cards, your past influence leaving out of June and coming into July is the Knight of Wands in the reverse. Your central energy, whoa, okay, y'all ain't see that. Your central energy for the month of July is the Seven of Wands, that's challenged by the Judgment card. Your below energy is the Four of Swords in the reverse. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Your above energy is the Six of Swords in the reverse. Going forward into August, we have the Eight of Cups in the reverse, and at the bottom of you guys' deck is the Five of Cups. Now that's funny. I don't know when you're gonna watch this video. But in one of the daily readings, I want to say it was for the 6th or the 7th of July. I believe Taurus had the grief card. I believe. Yeah, it was for my chakra oracle deck. You guys had the grief card, and I know the message was something about temporaryism and seasons and things of the sort, and understanding that certain things aren't forever. So that's the same kind of vibe I'm getting with this. But anywho, so what is looking like for me, Taurus, what I'm seeing is you guys need to upgrade a little bit, because with this Knight of Wands in the reverse coming out of June into July, it's letting me know that Tauruses have been in an energy, sorry y'all, there's an eyelash in my eye, but you guys have been in an energy where you've been going hard in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys have been working really, really hard towards something, like going 1,000 miles an hour. You know what I mean? With this Four of Swords in the reverse at the bottom, this lets me know both of these cards are warning signs of burnout. And I can so relate to this because I have been saying this for the longest. I was like, yo, I said, I can't keep doing all this stuff that I'm doing, because I was like, I'm going to end up like heading for burnout. And legit, my assistant said that last night too, because I was like, dog, we can't keep doing this. But this is more or less going hard in the paint for something. It could be, anything, dealing with work or, school, whatever it is that you guys are doing. But the whole thing is that it's an overexertion of energy, and it needs to be better channeled. Now, why I say upgrade is because with the Seven of Wands being here, if you guys don't see it, which is looking like you don't with this overall energy, what you guys aren't seeing is that you're in a position that is, I don't want to say enviable because that just sounds so egoic, but your hard work is paid off in so many words. And I feel the reason why this is coming up, because it's a forewarning, is more or less letting you know that your hard work has paid off. So you are where it is that you deserve to be. You know what I mean? Whether you see it or not, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're aware of it or not. But the thing is that usually, and I feel like I said this to you guys, because there's book of Taurus that was pissed at me when I did this particular reading I'm thinking about. But I was saying, like, to not rest on your laurels. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a self-sabotage type of thing. This might have been like February or something, or March, something like that. But I was saying about not resting on your laurels when you accomplish something, because if you do that, then you can rest a little too long and everything you worked for could be taken away from you on some stuff. But with this, it's slightly different because it's more or less saying that the upgrade comes in recreating a better system, right? Now, this falls into alignment with the collective messages that have come out. I spoke to Anon yesterday because I was asking him about the synchronicities between Aquarius and Libra. And I was telling him about the Pisces reading and how that came out. And he was telling me something about Neptune or something in Pisces, and how that's affecting the whole collective. But I say that to say that to make more sense of this, or to get another perspective on your situation, Taurus, you may want to watch the Pisces reading. Because it's this whole thing. Oh, good Lord, especially like, because I think he said something about this weekend and stuff like that. Because I talked in Pisces about a crossroads and choosing a path. And there's some sort of transit thingy that's happening this weekend. And it's about picking a path. And I feel for you guys, like, especially with the Judgment card being here, it's almost like a proverbial energetic rapture, if you will, picking sides of if you're going to stay in dark or light type of deal, you know? So it's almost like this interim time for you guys is about choosing how it is that you're going to forge the path forward. You know what I mean? And I feel what's coming up here is what's come up for all of the signs, in the sense that it's a lot about self-forgiveness here, because what has motivated a lot of Taurians up to this point, like a lot of other signs, is an old antiquated system. So it's, you know, hypothetically, if it's that, you know, you never felt good enough, like back in the day as a kid, growing up, whatever. So as an adult, you become an overachiever, right? And you're an overachiever because you're either trying to prove a point to someone else or prove a point to yourself. So that's really the motivating factor behind why you work so hard and push yourself so hard. But the thing that this would be saying is Spirit saying, okay, so you did that. Now you're the king of your own hill now, right? But now it's time for this energy to shift. So you've done the work, you get the fruit of your labor. And yes, you're going forward. Yes, this is a new energetic cycle. However, you cannot go forward into this next cycle using the same methodology that you used to get here, because the methodology that you used is rooted in your wounding, right? It's not who it is that you really are. So this is more or less a call to align with your higher self, Taurus. So it's like, lower self, you were able to use the motivation of the lower self's woundings to get here. But the way the energy is shifting, and this is everything that I said to my mentorship group last night, because I was talking about, like, in the ethereal, I can see it's almost like a tsunami that's coming, not a literal one, but I mean, energy signatures, you never know. But It's like an energy that's coming, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen before, right? So it's like a whole new, like fresh wind type of energy. And the reason why it's been coming out for the entire collective, like all signs, to rid yourself of these antiquated systems, is because they're not going to work in the new energy, which is all about what 2020 is about. It's setting the foundation for this new energy that we're going forward into, you know, the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you can't have like, I don't know what, like all TVs are like HD now. Like you can't have like an old school TV without getting some sort of upgrade, in so many words. And that's what I'm seeing here for Taurus. But of course, we're a fixed sign. We don't particularly care for change, like talking about it. You know what I'm saying? We like tried and true. We like things that I know works, right? But we can't go forward like that because it'll eventually end up holding us back, right? And the biggest decision that Taurus is going to have to make this month and going into August is, are you going to stay or are you going to go, right? It's like you can hold on to what's safe. You can hold on to what's comfortable. You can hold on to what you know, right? But it would be to your detriment, in so many words. And then, I mean, for some of you, it could be the knowledge that you know that there's some people you're going to have to leave behind, because I feel a sense of this too, of you guys desiring to elevate, but there may be people in your circle or, you know, partners or whatever that are kind of trying to discourage you from moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's fear-based or whatever the case may be. But the most important takeaway from this reading is to listen to your higher self, because if you don't, you may very well regret it. You know, if you don't listen to yourself, and if you listen to other people, it's more about you valuing your opinion. And I think it's funny because a lot of the readings this month, dude, have related a lot to probably the most trying experiences in my life, which I was talking to my mentorship group about last night as well. Is I was saying, I said it's difficult sometimes where it's trying to teach people certain things and it's not external world type of stuff. It's like the most epic shifts in this journey occur in an inner way. And I'm like, there's certain times that I could do a reading and it's like I have a flashback to the moment that I remember that spirit taught me that specific lesson. But I was like, the difficulty is in explaining that particular thing. So the thing that I've been working on, because all of this stuff has been coming up, so this is helping me a great deal, is being able to put it into more of a practical, applicable type of context. But this specifically is so important, dude, because it's when you throw caution to the wind. Because this is reminding me, I said the same thing in Gemini too, of a time in my life where every person that was around me in my physical life was in direct opposition to what it is that spirit was telling me. And I mean, people I love, people I trusted, people who I know wanted what was best for me. What they were saying was in direct opposition to what spirit was saying to me. So those are trying times, which is where I see, like with these cards, that's your above, that's your past energy, that's your forward energy, this is your below energy. All of these cards are in the reverse. The only cards that are in the upright is you and your higher self. Feel what I'm saying? That's the only cards that's in the upright. So that's what it reminds me of. So what would be needed here is, what does one do when a voice in your head is telling you one thing, right? And everybody that you know and love is saying the polar opposite to what this voice in your head or this unction in your gut is telling you. What do? You know? And this is one of those situations where the wheat is separated from the chaff. Do you trust man or do you trust God? Do you trust others or do you trust yourself? It's like, this is where it comes down to the come down of what it is that you really stand for. What do you really stand for? Who do you really stand for? What are you really fighting for? Who is really the God of your life? Spirit, humans, you know, your wounds, your higher self, right? So there's a proverbial death that happens here. And that's where I feel like this underlying energy of the Five of Cups comes from, because whenever there's an ending in any way, shape, form, or fashion, there's always a little bit of grief, you know, because sometimes we have to leave people behind, we have to leave places behind, leave jobs behind. It doesn't necessarily have to be something like traumatic, but it's just the grief of knowing that the cycle is ending. For some of you, it just may be your way of relating to other people. You know what I mean? But this is an epic, crossroads though. Like, this is legit the trumpet sounding, man, in an epic way. And it's choosing sides of how it is that we're gonna go forward. But I mean, it's a beautiful thing nonetheless, Taurus. I'm just saying, this is pretty epic. I hope that makes sense, y'all. All these readings are buku deep, but you know, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I'm gonna go over to my website, Vimeo, Patreon, and YouTube membership to do you guys extended. So if you bought that life, follow me over there. But if not, still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later.